Alright guys, how we doing today? So what we're going to do today is go over this Western Tornado salt spreader. We're going to show you the ins and outs of it, how to use it, how to apply salt on your parking lot. Got my 2015 Silverado here. We've got doors on this unit. So first thing you want to do before you start is you're going to want to turn your spreader on and make sure that it's clear, not jammed, it's functioning properly. So we're going to go in the truck. We're going to reach in, hit the on button. You're going to notice the lights. This is your material width, this is your material flow. Now what you're going to look for, okay, that signal there, that's empty hopper. That is telling you your hopper is empty. It's got to be calibrated. Not all of them do it, but this one does. When you get low on salt, it's going to start alarming you that you're almost empty and that the hopper is empty. So right now we know we don't have any errors. Material flow, material width, they're on, and as you can see, when your spreader's on, your lights are going to be lit all the way up to wherever you've got it dialed into. Another thing I want to show you is that when your spreader is off, you're only going to have the lights wherever you're set for. So right here, we've got material width, full blast. If we turn this down, you're going to see that light move down. Same thing with material flow. Now, normally you're going to run your width all the way up because you want to fan your salt out as far as you can. So we'll turn that up. Again, we turn it on to check it. You can see as you turn it on, the lights light up however far you have it set for. So there's the empty hopper alert again. We're going to walk back and check. We've got our spinner turning. You can tell that the conveyor is running, spitting a little bit of residue out of there. There we go. Alright guys, I'm going to show you a couple other things. You've got the latches on your doors. You're going to undo this latch, open your doors up to load. You've got another latch back here. At that point, you can lift the door up, heavy, open. Don't let the doors swing open and slam open. Don't slam them shut, because if you do, these are going to crack, they're going to break. Once you've got both doors open, you go to the other side, you've only got one latch on the other side on most of these units. Swing the other door open, you're ready to load. Make sure your hopper is turned off, because if you don't, when you load, you're going to start throwing salt. The next thing that we want to go over is your gate back here. If you look at your gate, you've got several settings here. They're not really numbered, but this is closed, this is open, and we normally run them on about 3. If you're really trying to put some salt out, you're trying to really burn a lot of snow, you can open it all the way up. The more you open this gate, the more salt is going to lump over each time, and we've noticed a lot of times we're getting salt feed back under it. And I'll show you here. We'll go to the other side. Up under the spreader down here, as you can see, it's returning salt back up under here and piling it up. So we think that's from running the gate too far open and the material flow too slow. So we want to kind of avoid that. So we normally run them on about 3. When you're spreading, we'll go back inside here. And when you're spreading, most of the time you're going to run that speed up. You're not going to want to have it, you want to fan out as far as you can. Your material flow, you're going to want to run, if you're just light salting or you're pre-salting and you're running around areas that are wide open, you're going to want to run, you know, 8 to 12 miles an hour. On the lower end, if you're running 8 miles an hour, you might want to run this on 2 or 3. And if you're running a little faster and you've got a lot of snow you're going to be trying to burn, you might want to run it up higher, 4 or 5. That's usually as high as you're going to want to go with those. If you turn it up higher than that, you're going to really be putting some salt down. So keep that in mind. If you're backing into areas, a lot of times if I'm backing into docks or I'm backing into parking spots, I'll run it on 1 or 2 and I'll never turn it off. But keep in mind, when you turn these down, this is not off. This is simply the lowest setting. So you're not going to turn these down to stop spreading salt. What you're going to do is you're going to turn it off. So if you're stopped somewhere, you backed in somewhere, you're waiting on somebody, just hit the off button. It's off. It's on now, but just turn it off, and then you're good. If you turn these down, I'm gonna go back here, I'll show you. But, well, your spinner is off on 1. I'm surprised by that, but it's best just to turn it off. Well, if I had it turned on, that'd be great. Let's turn it on. Now, let's see if the spinner's on. Well, look at that. It's spinning. So, turned all the way down is not off. You have to turn it off. This thing is instantaneous. When you turn it on and off, you do not have to wait. And it does not spin up like a salt dog where it takes off full speed and then cuts back down. It's all on or all off. So all you got to do is turn it on and off and you should be good. The other thing we have is this light button. We have lights on all of ours. Turn the light on and your lights will be lit up. So got lights. Alright guys, so I think that covers most of it. Another feature you have is the blast feature. It's this button here. This is a momentary switch, so if you're ever backed up into handicap spots or you've got a patch of snow you need to burn, you can hold that button down. It will run the flow and the width at full speed. You let it off of it and it'll go back to your previous settings. So if you're driving across the parking lot, got a heavy spot, hold down blast, give it a couple seconds because you know it's got to get that feed there. So hit it a little early and you can throw full blast over top of a patch of ice, patch of snow, whatever you've got, just for that little area. It's pretty handy. That's the gist of it. As far as basic use, I don't have my card that has all the codes on it. I do know HO, if you ever experience that, it means your conveyor is jammed, and that's usually bad news because you probably had salt freeze up in it. Most of the time that does not happen with these. They do pretty good, but if it's really cold, you can kind of see down in there, if you've got some residual, it'll freeze in there, and usually where you have your problem is up in here. You've had that salt pile up in here and it'll jam into that chain and it cannot pick up the speed to break it loose. So always try to keep that clean after each storm. Mine's not very clean right now, but we'll get her cleaned out. We've got another storm coming tonight. If you get the HO, hopefully you're getting it before you load it with salt, because if not, you're going to be going to a car wash or whatever, chiseling that out of there, trying to get it clear. We don't get them very often, but we have had them. I think SO is spinner overload. If you ever get that, check here. You may have debris piled on here where the spinner can't get moving, or back here. Just make sure it's spinning free. Check it again. Another thing we've experienced is there are set screws up in here that hold this spinner from sliding up and down. And what it will do is come loose, and we only had it happen when they're brand new coming out of the factory, so we've had to check them all. But it'll let this slide down, and this is going to sit on here and rub, and it gets the belt. There's a belt up in here, gets it out of alignment, and it will overload the motor. It will jam up. So those are the things to check if you have that. Your other thing you have back here is your pins that hold the spinner on. Pull that cotter pin right there. Pull that out, pull these out. They're just pins that go in there, one on each side. And then you lift and pull back with this. So they're on slots like this. There's a bar up in here, and they just hang on that. So you have to lift, pull back. You can work on your spinner, you can get to the conveyor. There's grease fittings in there if you have a central grease kit where you can grease everything. Always check your straps, make sure they're tight. That one's could use a little bit, but I think that covers most of it. When you're done, when you're loaded, you can drive down the highway with these open, as long as they're not blowing around, the wind's not crazy. If you're going from spot to spot, it's fine. Try not to drive down the highway with them. But you don't want to load so full up there that you can't get your doors closed. You can see how that door sits on there. If you've got clumps, you're going to have to get them out of there. If you've got clumps up there and you slam this door shut, you're going to crack it. You're going to break it, so don't do that. So let's close this door up. We're going to kind of hang on to it while we do it. I'm trying to do this one-handed. Pull these down into the latch. Pull this one down into the latch. And as you can see, there's not one over there on the front because it overlaps. And you've got one back here, right here. So that's pretty much it. That's gonna do what you need to do and get you going. Get you throwing salt. And I think that's it, guys. So that wraps it up. Hope you learned something. Let's have a good season. Let's break any equipment. Thanks, guys.